अच्छा, to begin with, let me put the question, जो एक बड़ा ही hot topic रहा, एक debatable issue रहा, and it's still a debatable issue because the petition is still pending in the Supreme Court. Obviously, I'm referring to the Article 35A provisions. मैं ये जानना चाहूँगा कि उस provision का source कहाँ है, कहाँ से है, where did it come from, what necessitated the Article 35A to begin with in the first place?
Look, the detail is quite comprehensive. This is a sort of bite, so I would not be able to deal with the entire detail, but at least I would talk about things which are required to know about this. The foremost thing you need to understand is that before 1947, or before the establishment of a constitutional, democratic and responsible government in this state, under the regime of so-called Dogra rulers, the administration of the state was dominated by Punjabi people. The reason why they were the educated people, the modern sort of administration or the reforms which are introduced on the behest of British administration in India, that required skilled personnel, that required people who were educated, and Punjabi people were dominating the administration of the state of Jammu and Kashmir.
This principle remains relevant even today. We require skilled educated people to lead.
What happened, there was a feeling of discord among the people. When I say among the people who had this consciousness in the state. Majority of the people of the state, like Kashmiris, were begars, they were rag pickers, so they did not have this consciousness because they were not educated people. Even the first generation of Kashmiri learners or students came up in 1932 and 33. So there was an organization called Sanatan Dharm Yuwak Sabha of Kashmiri Pandits in Kashmir, though this discord was among the Dogra Rajputs also, because being the princely state of Dogra king, Rajput king, how is it that the Punjabis are dominating the administration of the entire state? But if you talk about the full-fledged movement, a movement was initiated by Sanatan Dharm Yuwak Sabha. The movement was called Kashmir for Kashmiris, and this just demanded that outsiders should be removed. This is the indigenous people of the state should run the administration of the state. For that, educational programs were also initiated in 1905. Around schools and colleges were established in the state, and in Kashmir, Kashmiri Pandits were the people who were able to get the education first, and that's why they were able to occupy the clerical positions. But still, because they are Kashmiris, so they could not be on the administrative positions. But this movement was successful. Because of the pressure of this movement, the Maharaja had to issue a proclamation, a decree, that's called the Mulki Ijazatnama of 1912. Any person who had to get occupation or a job in Jammu and Kashmir state needed to get an Ijazatnama from the state administration, of the state government, of the princely state. But still, this document was not enough as a safeguard to check the influence of outsiders, because even after the Punjabis used to leave their jobs, they used to leave it for their progeny. The portfolios were passed on, and they used to fill their coffers like anything else. But the movement was continuous. The movement grew, culminated. This Kashmir for Kashmiris. This was not a movement initiated by any Muslim conference or that. I'm telling you the name of the organization. It's a historical fact, and anybody can go into the books of history and check it out. After that, in 1927, because the entire Muslim conference movement began after 1932 or the event of July 1931. In 1927 itself, Maharaja Hari Singh had to issue the state subject proclamation. And that's the point where we still use the term state subject, though it's not a part of democratic discourse, because we are not subjects, we are citizens. Unfortunately, people still got their permanent resident certificate as state subject here. That's a very unfortunate situation. In 1927, the state subject notification was issued by a proclamation of the Maharaja that any person who has to be an administrator in the state or occupy a position like that has to be a state subject, subject of the state or the Dogra regime. The person has to seek a state subject certificate from the regime. After that, the Punjabis were removed and Punjabis were succeeded by Dogra Rajputs. Now, all the laws which protect the rights of the citizens of the state, special rights of the citizens of the state, are the laws of the state. They are not the laws of central government. That has to be understood foremostly.
This is the first thing where the misconception begins.
Yes, the misconceptions like any state can have its own law. Every state legislature has the power. These are the laws of the state, not of the central government, which protect the special rights of the citizens of Jammu and Kashmir. Now look, this protection is not one-dimensional. This protection is multi-dimensional. When I say multi-dimensional, I'm not just throwing words upon you. I'm not just bombarding words. This protection is historical, this protection is political, this protection is legal and socio-economic and cultural also. After the instrument of accession was signed, instrument of accession carried a straightforward clause out of the 9 clauses, which said that the laws in operation in the state will not be in any condition invalidated by the instrument of accession. First thing. Secondly, Article 35A was inserted into the Constitution of India by the Presidential Order of 1954. By that time, the constitutional relationship of Jammu and Kashmir and the Indian Union was not settled. It was a temporary relationship. That's what Article 370 means. But when they say temporary, it should be abrogated. Nobody says what should be the permanent or what would have been the permanent provision. That's the one-sided part of the entire game or discourse people go. Now, what does Article 35A states? It states that anything, notwithstanding anything contained in the Constitution of India or any parliamentary law, that should not, to make it more clear, not to use the legal language, that people of Jammu and Kashmir state which have their exclusive property rights, who have their the rights over scholarships and jobs, exclusive rights within their state, that would not be undone because that is repugnant with any of the constitutional or Indian parliamentary laws. That would not be repugnant. That would stand constitutional. Now, this petition which has been filed in the Supreme Court by the so-called J&K Study Circle, it's a right-wing organization, a sister organization of a right-wing organization, challenges the validity, procedural validity of Article 35, that how can you insert it through a presidential order? First thing, what is the intent of the people? By saying so, they just want that these special rights of the, you call them special, I just call them different rights. They are in no way special because first thing, they are not exclusively to J&K state only. There are many states in India who have the same set of rights. I read Article 371A about Nagaland. You have a Tenancy Act in Himachal Pradesh. You have similar rights in many other states of India. The entire northeastern region is an example, or Telangana. Yes, exactly. Maharashtra has. I'm talking about the rights which are protected under Article 35. What Article 35A is doing, it is giving a constitutional guarantee of the political guarantee given by the leaders to protect the special provisions, the special rights of the people of Jammu and Kashmir, because it's not a normal state. Fine. Indian federation is not a uniform federation. It's not a symmetrical federation. It's asymmetrical federation. Fine. Like the fingers of a hand, every finger is not equal.
Exactly.
Now the people who want Article 35A to go, what do they want? They want these special privileges, that means the exclusive property rights, exclusive scholarship rights, exclusive job rights of the people of the Jammu and Kashmir state to go. That means they want to have property here, they want to have jobs here, they want to have scholarships in the state share. That's very clear. Now different, rhetoric is used, Valmiki's, women's, these are all settled issues. They are non-issues. This is a big historical issue. When I'm saying that it is multi-dimensionally protected, historically we have a reason. I told you a historical reason. Second reason, this was a part of the agreement reached between the leaders of or the state government and the central government. That is the basis of the relationship between the union and the state. That is the basis of the constitutional relationship. Thirdly, it was legally protected in the Constitution of India. It's a part of legal system of the Jammu and Kashmir state. Fourth protection, I am telling you. Go and read the Accord of 1974 reached out between the government of India and the state government or Sheikh Abdullah and Indira Gandhi. What does that state? That the procedural and personal laws, the social security of the people of state would be exclusively guaranteed. And the state government will have the power to even review those laws of the parliament which have been applied to the state with modifications, and they can even be cancelled. And this all would receive a sympathetic consideration of the assent of the president. And even any law in future, if that would be applied to the state concerning social security, procedural and personal laws, cultural security of the state, State government has the power to review that. Look, Zainul Abideen Bandey is not stating anything. But to make it more clear, now let's come to the judicial dimension of the protection of these rights of the people. I won't call them special, they are just rights of the people of this state. The issue had been settled in the Supreme Court of India twice earlier.
Exactly.
Specifically the issue of Article 35. In 1962, there was a case, Puran Lal Lakhanpal versus the President of India and others, in which the constitutional validity of the presidential order and Article 35A was established. Then there was a case in 1969, Sampark Prakash versus the state of Jammu and Kashmir. A constitution bench of Supreme Court, 5 judges deciding the matter, validating the presidential ordinance and the Article 35. And apart from this, there are many other cases like the State Bank of India case, in which even Rohinton F. Nariman and Kurian Joseph had given a judgment in which the validity of the presidential order was established. But to make it more clear and very clear, the statement of Justice Chinnappa Reddy, there was a case in the Supreme Court. Justice Chinnappa Reddy had given a very beautiful statement. He said, why are you trying to short circuit things by bringing it to the judiciary? This is a matter of political negotiation. This is a matter of political principle. What should have been a part of political settlement, what has been a part of political settlement, should be settled politically. Why are you trying to bypass the political process by short-circuiting things and bringing it to the judiciary? Now the point is, like, what is the intent to poke this issue again and again, especially at a time when the state is burning already, when there is there's a situation like civil war in the state. Just few days ago, people are dying, cops are dying, civilians are dying. There is an insurgency which has re-erupted in the state. By doing all this, they are adding fuel to the fire. Nobody wants to solve this problem. And Pratap Bhanu Mehta, he's a very big intellectual.
Exactly.
He stated that doing away with Article 35A would be the last act of betrayal. These are his words. That means...
So it's a line of betrayal going on, and it will be the last coffin.
No, there have been a lot of betrayals in the history.
Exactly.
J&K state is a tale of political betrayals. I mean, it has a very sordid history. Unfortunately, our identities have been played with, our emotions have been played with, emotions of the people of India have been played with.
But before coming towards the attempts to abrogate it, I would take a step back and go back to the identity issue. Does Article 35A or the state subject laws, or what terminology is just used regarding this, is this identity synonymous with the identity of the people of Jammu and the people of Ladakh? Do they recognize themselves with this article as the people of Kashmir recognize?
Unfortunately, foremostly I would say, when you talk about Punjab, you don't say Ludhiana, you don't say Patiala, you don't say Jalandhar, you don't say Amritsar. Punjab is a unit. People are Punjabis and they are Indians. When you talk about Haryana, you don't talk about, Haryana, what are the opinions of the different people of SR? What are the opinions of the people of Mewat? Haryana is a political unit. I'm coming to the point. Why is it so that the political discourse in this state is not a discourse but a narrative? Why is it that we are a compartmentalized of a lot of people? Look, the very foremost thing, when you say Ladakh, when you say Jammu, when you say Kashmir, you're trying to say that we have 3 different regions in this state.
Shouldn't we acknowledge that there is a stark cultural and religious variation?
Definitely. This is an imposed cultural, religious as well as regional divide on the people. This is imposed, this is thrusted upon them. Look, this is a very shrewd political design. Foremostly, the cultural, the religious and the regional identities have been coincided. There are 3 communal habitats of politics running in this state. I would clearly and openly call it communal habitats of politics. Jammu a communal habitat of politics, Kashmir a communal habitat of politics, and Ladakh a communal habitat of politics. Foremostly, I completely disagree with the 3-fold regional classification of the state. Fine. If I have a political identity, constitutional political identity, that is a dual identity of a country which actually is a state, Indian political identity and then the state political identity. There is no sub-political identity in the constitutional framework beyond this. But if you're talking about, because this has become a mainstream political discourse in Jammu and Kashmir, Jammu region, Kashmir region and Ladakh region. In what sense? If the parameter of making a region is population, then with just 3 lakh of population, how can you call Ladakh a region? I mean, J&K state has a 1.25 crore of population. Out of that, you have a region called Kashmir which has over 70 lakhs of population. That is a region and a place which has 3 lakhs of population. Can you draw parity between these two regions? You cannot, certainly not. Let's talk about democratic principles straightway. I don't have any clandestine, or I'm not a part of a political party. I'm not a candidate for anything. I'm just simply an academician, a student who's talking about fair play. But that's parameter of population. Now let's take another parameter of defining a region. Geography. Ladakh certainly has the geography. Though the geography is arid. If you take into consideration geography, then the state has not 3 regions. Then the regions would exceed. I'll call the state has 4 regions. Then if geography would have to be taken into consideration, then there would be a reorientation of the regionalization of the state.
Are you referring to the Chenab Valley region?
No. What is Chenab Valley? Chenab even flows from Akhnur. It flows from Himachal. It flows even into Pakistan.
It's colloquially called Chenab
Unfortunately,
Valley region.
This is a very immature identity. I mean, this shows the identity crisis of the people, that they are supposed to take a name from a river which has a history because they don't know their history. Look, no region takes a name, no political identity is taken from a river. Take the example of any world. We have 2 parameters of taking identities in this country, either population or geography. When you say Ladakh is a region, you talk about geography, certainly population is no criteria over there. Fine. On cultural basis, what do you say? There are a lot of tribes. There are Baltis, there are Bhutis, there are Shias, there are Ladakhis, but two different districts even divided.
We have a historical reference to quote from the Indus Valley civilization.
Yes, definitely. So then if you talk about cultural identities, then there are not only 3 cultural groups in the state. They are not only Dogras, Kashmiris and Ladakhis. And what is Ladakhi is no cultural identity. They are what would you say to different ethnic groups within the so-called Ladakhi identity?
Exactly.
What would you talk about them?
So it's a very slippery surface.
What about Pahadis? What about, Gujars are the 3rd largest ethnic group of the state.
Exactly.
Kashmiris are the largest ethnic group. Dogras number 2, number 3 Gujars. What would you talk about them? And look, Gujars and Pahadis, they have a very strong politics going on right now, and the cultural identities are very much strengthened today. So we have Dads in the state. We have many cultural groups.
Are we concluding that we should take a constitutional identity?
The point is, like, if you're talking about regionalization, any democratic discourse has to be a discourse. It has to be talked, and it should stand the questions. If you're talking about, then we have at least four regions in the state. Look, geography says Himalayan range, that which exists in the political frontiers of the state of this country, starts from Poonch to Kishtwar. This is one geographical range which is called Pir Panjal. Unfortunately, people of Rajouri and Poonch think that they are Pir Panjal, and these people have been given a lollipop, this Bhadrawah, DODA and Kishtwar, Chenab. What is Chenab Valley? Chenab even flows through Pakistan. Chenab even flows through Akhnur. फिर जहाँ से भी Chenab flow करेगा, that is Chenab Valley.
Should we start identifying with them as well?
Yes, they also have a right over it to call themselves in Chenab Valley. And valley is a valley. Where is a valley here? We don't have a valley here.
Exactly.
It's a hilly terrain. I mean, let's have a very logical discourse and a legal discourse and a legal identity. Now coming to the identity question of Article 35A, how is it related to our identity? I would simply ask to any Indian, how do you say that being Indian is your identity? Because Constitution of India gives you an identity. This is a legal and a political identity.
Exactly.
It's not a primordial identity. It's not a cultural identity. It's a political identity. And what is Constitution? It is the fundamental law of the land. What is Article 35? It's a part of Constitution.
Exactly.
It is a part of fundamental law of the land. It is a law. If being Indian is a political and legal identity, Article 35A is related to the legal and political identity of the state of Jammu and Kashmir. A kid doesn't know what is in his benefit. His parents decide for him by the time he becomes an adult. Unfortunately, the people of the state are still immature. They don't know their real selves. The reason for that is they don't read. They don't study. We don't study. I won't say them, they. I'm a part of it. I have to embrace it. I'm a part of this collective conscience. I'm a part of this collective society. So it is a part of our identity. Unfortunately, due to the communalization of discourses. Look, just imagine if in 1954, this would have been said that we will not allow the state to have its rights, its personal laws. Would they, what do you think? J&K would have been a part of the Indian Dominion? This was a part of settlement. Now look, I'm giving the justification from history. I'm giving you the justification from law. I'm giving you the justification from the political arrangements and settlements between the union government and the government of state. I'm giving you the justification from the decisions of the Supreme Court. The intent to challenge Article 35 is nullified. And thirdly, I must tell you, this cannot be undone. This is a constitutional impossibility. There is no way to delete this article. There is only one way. Arbitrary manner.
Which is being attempted.
That's what is being, by hook or by crook, that's what Justice Chinnappa Reddy said. Why are you trying to short circuit
the whole system?
Yes, this is an attempt at short circuiting the thing.
Established routes are being bypassed.
I mean, when somebody goes, I remember the tweet of Shah Faisal. He said Article 35A is like a roka before the marriage. I mean, you go and get engaged to someone, you say that I am not accepting the engagement at all, so what would be the basis for the marriage itself?
Exactly.
And the point is, like, this is a legal relationship. It's a constitutional framework. Somebody saying that Constitution of India is my dharm granth. So it's like a Muslim saying that, okay, Quran is my religious scripture, I believe in it, except all these verses. So saying that I believe in the Constitution of India but not these articles of the Constitution, this is a paradox and a contradiction. People need to clear their minds of venom. There is unfortunately a communal discourse, a value conflict in this state, and there has been no attempt at bridging the gaps. There has been no attempt at guiding and educating the people towards a constitutional and a legal discourse. Unfortunately, extra constitutional discourses are dominating the political climate and politics of the state.